You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your overly loud and overly caffeinated host, and with me, as always, is my partner,
the common cool one, Rocco.
The common cool Rocco. There you go, the counterpoint to my loudness. It works out well. It's a good balance. So, all right, excellent.
Let me tell you, folks, Jim is not going to be calm and cool today. This is going to get heated.
No, I am not. I am actually annoyed. So there's your fair warning. So I'm going to blast, not you people, but I'm going to blast the industry a little bit because today I want to talk about a new concept in software licensing that you guys may or may not have heard about. And it's called named user licensing. Isn't that a pretty name? But what it is it's actually the latest way for software development companies to maximize their profits at the expense of their user base. And I know, like Rocco said, I know you guys can hear the aggravation in my tone here, but really, this is the kind of thing that genuinely angers me, both as a consultant and as a business owner. Bear with me today, and I'm going to bet that everybody listening is going to be just about as frustrated by this new trend as I am. So basically what it is, it's a new name, right? This named user licensing. It's a new name for an old concept that had to be put to rest a few years back because there was a massive backlash against it in the CAD community. All right, and to be honest, though, it's not just limited to the CAD world. This is becoming kind of the new software licensing standard for a lot of industries, okay? And when this idea first came out, developers, they made the mistake of actually being honest about what they were doing, which was eliminating network or pooled licenses, right? Which is a vital tool, particularly in the design build world, right? So after there was a huge outcry, right, the big firms doing this, like Autodesk, ran away from their initial announcement, saying that they were going to, rethink their policies, and they'll let us know what they're going to do at some future date. Well, they never let us know a damn thing. Right? They just got some marketing people to put a harmless sounding name on it, and then they put some spin on their website about how it's for our benefit, and they made a quiet policy change without announcing it to the news or to the public or to the shareholders at large. Okay, so now I will get into what all this really means in just a little bit. Okay, but I really want to start today by getting some basic concepts down from Rocco, our resident sales expert, so that we're all kind of on the same page for what I'm talking about here today. So Rocco, talk to us a little bit about licensing, right? What are the basic licensing types for software, particularly in the CAD industry, right? What did we used to have, and what does everybody have now, and what are people's feelings towards those different types?
Yeah, well, what's been in place for years, right, has been the perpetual license structure, meaning you buy it once and you own it for life. And then you've had the ability to be able to have either a standalone or network license. A lot of companies have shifted to annual licenses. So you still have your standalone, or they call it your single user annual licenses, or your multi-user annual licenses. So a lot have moved away from the perpetual format into an annual license structure. A lot, but not everybody, and we're going to get into that later on. So and now it's being changed yet again by some folks, including Autodesk. But for the longest time, it's been perpetual, standalone, or network licenses. Mm-hmm. And yeah, a lot of people have grown used to that because it's been a one-time purchase. You know exactly what you're putting out. you have the option of annual maintenance, and you know generally what that annual maintenance is going to be, and you're not forced to do the annual maintenance. You can renew if you wish, and if not, you can upgrade when you want. But all that's been changing over the past, I don't even know how many years. You lose track, time goes by. But
Yeah.
so that's been the pretty much the structure.
Yep. Okay, and that, like I said, there was a big blindsided change with the switch to the forced annual subscription, which it still boggles me, Rocco, that we all just accepted this. You know, the idea that, oh yeah, you used to come in and you would buy software and then you owned it, and now you just have to lease it and you have to pay us every year no matter what. You know, think if we did that with trucks. If we just said, now you can't buy a truck anymore, you have to lease it at whatever price we tell you. There's no negotiation. And if you don't pay every single year, the truck just stops running. Would anybody stand for that crap? But no, that's exactly what we all bought it, hook, line, and sinker, and we didn't say boo about it, right? So that's bad enough, right? So now it's going to be even worse, right? Because, so even though I try really hard not to on this show, really, I do. But today I am just absolutely going to browbeat Autodesk in today's show because they're really the leading developer pushing forward this named user licensing concept. All right, so let me break down what this really is for you in kind of simple terms. So 3 years ago, roughly 2-3 years ago, Autodesk announced that they were going to kill off their multi-user network licensing, right? Which is, it's a mainstay of the design world, right? We all have users, right, who don't need full-time CAD access, but they absolutely need to have the ability to, open and review and edit those files on a semi-regular basis. And the network licensing was the answer for that, right? You could buy a handful of, semi-affordable licenses and put them on a network location so that as many people as needed could use those licenses, right? In other words, if you have 10 users, right, who only need, periodic CAD access, right, you could buy 5 seats of the network license and then have up to 5 people at the same time have that CAD system open and running. And if somebody else needed it, somebody would close out, right? And look, that licensing is usually completely separate from your full-time CAD users, right? Your full-time design staff. They get full-time licenses dedicated to them, right? But everybody else could use these network licensing. And it's a great solution for the real world, right? We all really need that. But a few years back, right, the C-level folks over at Autodesk realized there was a way to push their share price even higher, right? Just kill off the network licenses. Make everybody buy a seat, a full seat, even if they only use it like 2 days a month, right? Great for stock prices, but it's an absolute financial disaster for small and medium-sized design firms, okay? So that proposed change hit the news, and it hit just about the same time. If you all remember the Revit letter complaining about, Autodesk's lack of upgrades with their much despised annual subscription model, those both kind of hit the headlines at the same time. All right, and excuse me, the outcry from both, right, was a little bit too much, I guess, for the Autodesk marketing machine. So they tabled canceling the network licensing, right, pending internal reviews and discussions with clients. Sure. Here we are, right, a couple of years later, and oh, surprise, as of May 7th, 2022, there are no more network licensing programs. They've been replaced with this concept of named user licensing. And Autodesk is offering just great deals. They're going to give you 2 named seats for each network license they take away. Isn't that generous, Rocco? Isn't that nice of them? I mean, of course.
It's love it.
It's beautiful, right? It's only for 1 year of subscription, and on your next renewal date, you have to pay the full annual price for every single seat. Okay, beautiful. So, Rocco, how many people are even aware of this change to their Autodesk licensing? I mean, has it been coming up in conversations with clients, or is this, like I see it, being flown under the radar?
It's like everything else. I mean, if you're following, the hundreds of emails that we all get in a given day, you're up to date with it. If not, it's kind of passing you by. But I've had plenty of discussions with folks that are, just just flat out ticked over this, and they're looking for a way out. But to be honest with you, it's like there's a lot that look for a way out, and then a lot that kind of back down to it, and they're like, well, we need to be compatible with other firms that are using Revit, for example, or that are, we just have to have that compatibility with other Autodesk users. And so, well, I guess it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yay.
So that's kind of, the feedback that I'm getting, but folks are definitely aware of it.
Well, that's good. At least people are aware. Like I said, I live more in the tech end, and the folks I talk to are like, what? They had no clue. So that's good. At least hopefully somebody's listening.
Yeah,
honestly,
but I'm sure that there's a big base of people that are going to be caught off guard and that are going to, flip a lid once they really understand what's going on. Because again, you get so many emails. Sometimes you kind of glance through stuff. Okay, that's not until May, but May is only 4 or 5 months away at this point from the time we're recording this podcast. You know.
And again, I think a lot of folks, who see it, they just kind of look and say, oh, it's some kind of new thing because they put the nice, pretty name on it. They don't even really pay attention to it and don't realize that their network licensing is being taken. And honestly, the thing that really annoys me about all this isn't really the cost, though I get that that's a huge issue for most of us. What really ticks me off is the way they put the most blatant marketing spin on it, and then actively tell everybody that it's for their own benefit. No, we're not doing this to triple our income. We're doing it because it's what's best for our clients, right? It's because we think of you as a name, not a number. That's why we need to make this change, right? It's going to make it easier to track your CAD usage instead of those pesky users just accessing things whenever they want, which makes your life miserable. I'm not kidding you, folks. That is the actual crap that they have posted on their website. Go look, right? Listen, I get that Autodesk and all software publishers are for-profit businesses, right? And they want to make as much cash as they can. Hell, Zentek does too. And believe me, I want much more money than I get today. I want to get even half of what Rocco manages to pocket on me every year. He's in there living in his mansion, and here's Jim stuck living in a van down by the river, No, but really, I do. I find this it's really offensive to me when these companies pull kind of the P.T. Barnum juggling act, right? To kind of take your attention away from the reality of what's going on, right? These software developers have already railroaded most of us onto their forced annual subscription, right? For the promise of these annual benefits and upgrades that just have never appeared. Right? It is essentially legalized blackmail, but we've dealt with it by limiting how many seats we needed by using our network licensing option, and now they're taking that away too. Once again, with the promise of, for benefits and upgrades that we are never going to see, right? This is 100% about C-level executives, right, whose compensation is tied to share price. Right? They are driving the bottom line as hard and as fast as they can without regard to the long-term viability of their company so that they get their multi-million-dollar bonuses. Right? The problem is that they're doing it off of our backs and they're extorting money from their users because they hold a monopoly on the CAD and design world. Right? And they are investing nothing in developing better products or actively meeting their customers' needs. It is an absolute travesty of what was once a brilliant company, in the case of Autodesk, that innovated an entirely new industry at one point, right? So, yeah, I'm frustrated. All right, so I tell you what, let's take a break to hear from today's sponsor, because like I said, right, we needs the money too. And when we get back, I promise to stop, riling up the proletariat and talk about other options you have to kind of get out from under the weight of losing your network licensing. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast.
Today's Cattle Call Podcast is being brought to you by BricsCAD, the latest and greatest CAD software out there on the market today. It's growing by leaps and bounds, and the beauty of it is that BricsCAD allows you to use all of your current drawing files, all of the CAD commands and macros and features and Lisp routines and customizations and configurations that you've already developed. right? Without any transition. Your people can be up and running in BricsCAD in a matter of hours, right? So to help you make that transition here at Zentex, one of the things that we've done is we have actually created a Make the Move to BricsCAD program to help you move from your Autodesk-based platform over into BricsCAD with minimal time and risk and investment. And Rocco is going to tell you all about it. Rocco?
I'm going to tell you all about it. Well, there's a great deal of information that's available right on our website. It's zentechconsultants.net. You can reach out to us at sales@zentechconsultants.net or give us a call, 866-824-4459. But yeah, that's the core idea behind it, Jim. If you're an AutoCAD user and you're looking to make the move to BricsCAD, we're here to help make an easier transition for you. So check us out. Let us know how we can help you.
Perfect answer. BricsCAD, the smartest CAD system on the market today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast, where we're talking about the coming advent of named user licensing. And in this half of the show, I want to talk about some of the options you have available in different industries and the systems to kind of get away from that huge expense, right? I'm gonna start first here with the CAD world, right? Since that's where the named user trend is really taking hold and very quickly. The good news, right, is that there are players out there who are going in the exact opposite direction of Autodesk. Companies that see their future in offering a better CAD system with both perpetual licensing and multi-user network licensing for their customers, right? Pulling you away from that forced annual subscription and the loss of the network. They're trying to take you away from Autodesk by offering what I think of as a better process, right? In other words, right, they're just trying to build a good CAD system that works for the benefit of their clients while making a profit, right? Instead of just trying to max their positions on the Dow Industrial, right? My favorite CAD system in this respect is definitely BricsCAD. And yes, they're a partner of ours here at Zentech, and they do literally anything that AutoCAD does, right? And in the exact same way. Right? But they do it with better, faster, smarter processes that were developed based off of user input and guidance, right? In particular, BricsCAD is kind of dedicated to the idea of always offering perpetual and network licenses. They've come out and said that's our business model. We're not going away from that, right? And that's an absolute must for small, medium-sized design firms. I mean, look, I guess if you're an international firm doing all your work in Dubai with 500 million in annual billings as a design firm, then maybe subscriptions and named user licensing, that works for you somehow. I don't know. I ain't got that kind of pull. But for anybody, I think, who's actually listening to this silly little podcast, I'm betting that being forced to pay an additional $150,000 every single year for your intermittent CAD users is going to seriously impact the way that you work. Okay, so Rocco, how important are licensing concerns to the people that you talk to all the time? Right? Are they more concerned with the cost, or is it the fear of potential change a bigger issue for them?
Yeah, it really depends upon the role that you're playing within an organization. That's really what it comes down to. Everybody is in a different position. I mean, there's people that want that perpetual license structure, and then, like I was saying before, there's people that look at it. Well, we need to be compatible with our customers. We need to do. If Autodesk is making those changes, we don't like it, but we'll accept it, and it's just what we have to do. But it's really not what you have to do. I mean, there are other options, and that's part of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and that concept always it frustrates me. It's the idea. If y'all took basic history in high school, you all remember the old days of the company stores in the mining towns where you couldn't buy anything except through the company store, and they paid you with chits that were only good at the company store. This is just a modern version of that. You just stand there saying, "Well, I guess that's all I can do." It's time to unionize and fight and start, smashing windows. Don't accept that. It's wrong at every level. And I think, the fear of change. All right. I think it's that fear. It's what gives these big software companies the ability to force us into their money-making schemes, right? Even if we don't want to play along. There is a deep-rooted fear that I think is heavily fostered by these same software developers, that if you go to a better system, right, or a different system, you'll lose all your institutional knowledge, and you're going to get thrown all the way back to the pre-CAD Stone Ages where you had to use pencils, and you'll have to begin all over again from scratch, losing millions of dollars, and your clients won't want to work with you ever again because you're not on the same CAD system as them. What an absolute load of crap. Sure, there are always adjustments and a learning curve anytime you make a software change, right? But here's the reality that no one wants to tell you. I don't care what the software is. The learning curve is caught up to in 6 weeks. I guarantee it. Think about it for a minute. In 6 weeks, your staff will be just as proficient in the new system as they were on the old one, no matter what type of software you're using, right? From CAD to estimating to file sharing or collaboration. The absolute God's honest truth that nobody who is selling these systems ever wants to tell you is that at the base level, they're the same thing. AutoCAD, BricsCAD, IntelliCAD, MicroStation. They do the same thing with minor differences that you can learn in 6 weeks. Bluebeam, OnScreen Takeoff, PlanSwift, they're all estimating systems. They do the same thing with minor differences. SharePoint, Google Drive, Dropbox, file hosting collaboration with subtle differences, right? And here's the truth. Your people can work in any of them. CAD people know how to design and draft. Estimators know how to do quantity takeoff, regardless of what tool you give them to use. Right? Listen, do you worry? Does anybody freak out that a carpenter is not going to be able to build your house because he has a different name brand of hammer? No, you don't. So why does everybody panic, right, when it comes to changing your software tool? What you need to do is find the tool with the best feature at the best price and with the best licensing option for you, and go with that, right? It doesn't matter what it is. I'm not going to tell you which one to buy here today, but you need to stop letting these companies scare you into staying with a terrible system, right? Because you might, quote unquote, lose something, right? What you're doing here is you're locking your company into years and years of overpriced payments, abusive licensing practices, because you're afraid to take 6 weeks to adjust to a new tool. And I'm sorry, folks, that is just bad business. Okay, sorry. So Rocco, do you find that the worker shortages that we're facing right now throughout the design build industry, right? Do you find that the firms are making this a bigger or a lesser problem? In other words, are folks more or less willing to make software and licensing changes when they're short-staffed and feeling the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, they are. But it's not just a worker shortage. It's the pandemic that's basically restructured how so many of us work. And people being thrown into the hybrid / remote kind of structures. So yeah, to be honest with you, it's another reason why people say, well, maybe I'll kick the can, and look, the reality is we don't know when all of this is going to end. So and you always got to be keeping an eye on the bottom line, right? I mean, your finances are obviously important. If you don't have enough money to keep the boat afloat, the boat's going to sink. So, the short answer to your question is that.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, folks, I think Rocco's right. That's how most people see it, but I think you're making a mistake. For my money, the smart business move in a tight worker environment, or all the fluctuations that we're seeing because of COVID and all the other stuff, it's to optimize and streamline instead of trying to cling to old processes because you're afraid of change. Look, at the end of the day, we're all going to have to do more with fewer people. That's just the reality, right? Efficiency and intelligent placement of every dollar is how we're going to survive these labor shortages and the massive workloads that are coming our way and the shifting of people and working remotely and all of those things. we're going to have to be smarter and better. And we can't expect to be competitive and efficient if we just continue to throw money at software that doesn't give us any real benefit other than, the comfort of not having to think about it right now. Like Rocco said, kicking the can down the road. I don't want to deal with that today. I'm too busy. If you bury your head in the sand and just ignore that you're being steamrolled by unregulated tech companies, right, then you're going to fail. It's that simple, right? The key to hiring and maintaining your workforce is to offer better pay, right? Training, advancement, benefits, right? And we all know that, right? But how do we afford that? Well, I'll tell you what's going to make it a lot easier. If you take the money that these software developers are blackmailing us for, get better, more efficient systems at less cost with better licensing options, and apply those savings directly to developing your staff, right? And not just that, right? But we become more profitable because systems like, BricsCAD and Bluebeam or Civil Site Design, MapMaker, right? All of which we partner with here, right? That's my Zentech sales plug for today to make Rocco happy. They're simply better products, and that's why we actually partner with them. They're better products that make you more efficient. And when you're more efficient, that means bigger profits, which means you have the ability to hire more and better staff and treat them better. Are you seeing the pattern that I'm kind of laying out here, folks? You need software systems that have network licensing, right? And they give you a choice between perpetual and subscription license models, right? You need software partners that let you optimize the process to fit your needs and not to be forced into a one-size-fits-all environment that in reality only fits the software developers, right? And it may very well drive the rest of us out of business, okay? So there you go. That's enough of my soapbox for one day. I'm telling you. I told you I was annoyed. It really does. This really bugs me, things like this. It makes me crazy. And I don't understand, Rocco, why so many people will just sit there and take it. Like I said, no one would stand for this if you told them you're going to do this with their house or their truck or their car, but they're letting you do it with their business software. Oh, I guess I just have to accept it. I think a lot of
people think that it's, that you're just, you're tied into it because other companies that I work with are using it. And so, I can't really make a change, but.
And it's not true. It's just not true. And the folks who are telling you that, regardless of what company they work for, they're lying to you. 6 weeks. Every software system is compatible with every other software system in the modern era. People will not buy, all right? And it's the funny thing, right? People think that way, but they are also very intelligent in that they will not buy a system that is isolated. People won't say, oh, I have to use your system. Well, I'm not dumb enough to get caught in that loop. So they have interoperable systems all throughout the CAD design and construction world. Everything can cross from one program to another. And yet, when they're told, well, if you change, then nobody will be able to use your stuff, they go, oh, yeah, that's a problem. No, it's not. 6 weeks, you'll be completely productive, and every company on the planet will take your files and won't even know that you use a different software. That's the reality. Most file formats are open standard now. DWGs, Word documents, PDFs. They open in 100 different programs exactly the same way with no loss of data. There's no need for any company, right, to tell you that you have to use theirs or you're not going to be compatible. Just flat out lying to you. So there you go. All right, I'm going to leave you all with that happy thought to dwell on for the rest of the day.
You feel better now?
I do. I vented a little bit, so I feel better. Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to have some bourbon just to calm down. All right, folks. We're going to get out of here. We'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast.
All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentek strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentek?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentekconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentekconsultants.net, or you can even call us, 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.